All right, let's talk about one of the biggest, most colorful celebrations on the entire planet, the Lunar New Year.
And when I say biggest, I mean it. To really get a handle on just how massive this is, let's start with the number. We're talking more than 25%
Of the entire world's population celebrates this holiday. Yeah, you heard that right. That's literally billions of people, from all across Asia to communities all over the globe, joining in on this one massive celebration.
So, okay, it's a huge deal, we get that. But what is it exactly? What's going on behind all the fireworks and the big family meals? And you probably noticed, why does the date jump around on our regular calendars every single year?
Well, to get to the bottom of that, we have to start with the calendar it's based on. And, as you'll see, even what we call the holiday tells a really interesting story about culture and, just being inclusive.
So here's a fun fact. We call it the Lunar New Year, but that's not the whole story. It's actually based on a luno-solar calendar. It's this super clever system that tracks both the moon's cycles and the sun's journey. And that's the secret to why the date moves around. They add a whole extra leap month every few years just to make sure everything stays synced up with the seasons. It's all designed so the new year kicks off right as spring is about to arrive.
This brings up a really important point. What should we call it? You've probably heard Chinese New Year a lot, and that makes sense. The calendar did originate in China, and it's still the official name in places like Singapore. But Lunar New Year is becoming more and more common because it's a broader term. It includes so many other amazing celebrations, like Vietnam's Tet or Korea's Seollal. It's really catching on, so much so that the UN now officially recognizes it as a holiday by that name.
Okay, so to really get a feel for what this holiday is all about, let's zoom in and take a closer look at one of those incredible celebrations. We're talking about Tet, the Vietnamese New Year.
For so many people, Tet isn't just a party. It's everything. It's the most important festival of the year. Imagine taking Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve and rolling them all into one giant, meaningful event. That's what we're talking about here. It's all about family coming together, honoring ancestors, and just wiping the slate clean for a brand new start.
And the prep for this starts weeks ahead of time, and every single step is packed with meaning. First up, you've got to clean the entire house. And this isn't just your average spring cleaning. It's a ritual to literally sweep away all the bad luck from the last year. Then it's time to decorate. Homes fill up with these beautiful kumquat trees and flower blossoms, which are all symbols for good things like luck and wealth. And of course, there's the cooking. This is a huge deal with families getting together to make all these traditional, symbolic foods.
And a perfect example of this is a food called bancheng. It's this amazing square sticky rice cake wrapped in leaves. And that square shape, that's not an accident. It represents the earth. Families spend hours making these together, and then they offer them up on the family altar. It's this really beautiful way to show gratitude to their ancestors, connecting everyone to their family, their history, and the land.
So we've looked at Tet, but how does that one example fit into the bigger picture? Well, those core themes we just talked about, family, hoping for a good year, honoring your roots, those ideas pop up again and again in all the different cultures that celebrate, even when the specific foods and traditions look totally different.
This is a great way to see what I mean. We just talked about Ben Chung in Vietnam, which is all about gratitude. Well, over in Korea, you've got tteokguk, a rice cake soup. And get this, it's so important that people say you don't actually get a year older until you've eaten your bowl of it. Then in China, you'll see families making jiaozi, or dumplings. Why? Because they're shaped like old school money, and it's all about bringing in wealth for the new year. See? Totally different dishes, but they all share that same hope for a great future.
But, things change. Traditions don't just stay frozen in time, right? They have to evolve. So the big question is, how are these ancient celebrations holding up in our super fast modern world? Let's look at Korea's Seollal again, because it's a perfect example. It used to be that you had to travel back to your hometown, sometimes for days. Now, people make shorter visits, or they'll even meet up on a different day just to avoid the crazy traffic. Those really formal, elaborate rituals are getting simpler, with the focus shifting to just talking and catching up. Even the New Year's money kids get is going digital, just sent through an app. And what's wild is that people are now taking vacations over the holiday, something that would have been completely unheard of just a generation ago.
And this quote really says it all. Respect without pressure, family without burnout. It's not that younger generations are throwing out traditions. Not at all. They're just finding a new way to do things. A way to honor the past without all the stress, to make it work for their lives today.
Okay, so we've talked history, we've talked food, we've talked modern changes.
But we can't wrap this up without talking about the superstitions. This is the stuff that's all about bringing in as much good luck as you possibly can for the new year. And this is where things get really fun.
So, if you want to have a good year, there are a few rules you got to follow on day one. First, do not sweep the floor. You might accidentally sweep all your good fortune right out the door. Crying is also a big no-no. It's believed to bring a whole year of sadness. Don't even think about getting a haircut. Using scissors is like cutting off your luck. For your first meal, stay away from porridge because it's seen as a poor person's food and you want to invite wealth. And my personal favorite, don't wake anybody up. You have to let them wake up on their own. Otherwise, they'll be rushed and hurried all year long.
So there you have it. From its ancient roots in the moon and the sun to sending New Year's money with an app, the Lunar New Year is just this incredible mix of old and new. And it really makes you think, doesn't it? As these traditions keep traveling across the world and getting passed down, what's next? What's the future of the world's biggest holiday going to look like?